This is the plaintiff, Thomas McGowan. He says he's a lawyer who represented the defendant in a court case, and the guy still owes him money and refuses to pay up. He's here in front of the Honorable Judge Millian to plead his case for payment from the defendant, is owed $254, and is suing for just that today. This is the defendant, Henry. He says he paid the plaintiff his fee and then was asked to pay additional monies 3 more times. The last straw came after the guy lost his case, then had the nerve to ask for even more money. He refused, isn't going to be ripped off and taken advantage of by the likes of the plaintiff, and owes nothing. He's accused of not paying in full. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $750 for being overcharged and demands a refund.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff's a lawyer who did work for the defendant and got stiffed. But the defendant says he paid the plaintiff his fee and the guy's trying to fleece him. It's the case of you dirty barrister.
Thank you, Douglas. Thomas McGowan, you are suing your former client?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Henry, for $254 for court reporting costs that he is liable for and has not paid. You have a counterclaim against him for $750 because you want an accounting for funds he's charged you already, and you are accusing him of double billing. Okay, Mr. McGowan, you are a lawyer, and you represented him on what kind of a case?
It was a malicious prosecution case.
Who was he suing?
He was suing his neighbors.
Claiming that they had, generally, just give me an idea, claiming they had what?
They sued him for a restraining order unsuccessfully.
Okay, and so that they had accused him of physical violence when it didn't happen?
They accused him of a number of things that apparently were untrue, and they tried to get a restraining order, and they failed to do so. But he incurred expenses and a lot of trouble defending himself in that case.
Right. So he sued them for malicious prosecution. You
That's
filed
right.
the case. All right. So according to the retainer agreement, do you have a copy of the retainer agreement?
Yes, I do.
May I see it?
You'll see in the retainer agreement
Yes.
there were 2 items in there. He had some kind of a zoning or a code violation case.
A non-refundable retainer of $800, of which $500 will be set off against fees recovered on a contingency basis in the malicious prosecution action. Well, that's if you get fees recovered. That
Right.
ends up, let me not, I don't want to tell the ending, and spoiler alert for everybody, how did the trial go?
Trial didn't go well. We lost the case, so there was no fee.
Okay.
There was no additional fee.
All court costs, subpoena costs, photos, depositions, and court reporter costs, reports, witness statements, and expenses directly incurred in investigating or litigating of this claim shall be paid by the undersigned clients. Okay? Everybody on the same page? That's the agreement?
Yes.
All right, so what happens?
What happens is we incur a lot of costs during the case, 7 specific bills, and Henry paid 4 of them, and 3 remain unpaid.
Okay, may I see the 7 specific bills that came up during the case?
I don't have all 7.
Well, you're gonna have to, because here's what Henry is saying.
Okay.
Henry says that he's been overcharged. And he says the bill you're here for, which is a court reporter's bill, right?
Yes.
That's something he just paid. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see the 7 things so I can start the math from the beginning and see which of you is right.
Okay.
While he's looking for that, you wanted to show me, I guess those are emails he sent to you saying you have to pay this bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many, are these all for depots? For depositions?
Yeah, there's appearance fees for depots, and then there's transcription fees for depots. So they're separate fees.
Well, he has one bill that I know he paid that says depositions of neighbor 1 and neighbor 2. And then he has another bill that you're saying he didn't pay. That's $148.75.
There's $148.75.
And they also say deposition of neighbor 1 and neighbor 2. What purports to be the unpaid bill, and it's the same date.
One is an appearance fee and one is transcription fee.
It'd be so nice, ever so nice, if your court reporter actually said that so it doesn't look like they're paying for the same thing, because that's what it's looking like. Show me.
I got an email from him.
From whom?
The court reporter.
So let me see the email from the court reporter who explains that one was the appearance fee and the other was the transcription fee.
Okay, and I'll give you all the bills, too, that I have. And some of them are just past due notices.
Mm-hmm. Were you present at the trial?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
How'd it go? Well, I know the result wasn't good, but how did it go?
It was long, and it was,
How many days did it take?
I think, a day and a half.
Okay.
So it was a little bit.
Was there a jury or was it tried to a judge?
It was a jury. It was a
Jury.
Yeah, and we lost.
Incidentally, Ray, the outstanding balance in this case, this is from the court reporter. I was copied on an email from your client inquiring about the balance owed. To recap, what is owed is the original invoice of $148.75 for the appearance fee only. Okay, and the bill doesn't say appearance fee, but the other bill does say how many pages. So I know the other bill is for transcription. Just to recap, what is owed is the original invoice for $148.75 appearance fee only, plus $116.25 for the October 5th hearing before Judge Kelly. What was the $116 and what was that hearing before the judge?
That was a post-trial hearing to tax costs against Henry, and it was also to hear whether or not it was a frivolous case.
It was a 57-105 hearing.
Yeah, so we had to have
Did you go?
I did, ma'am, but Your Honor.
You did or you didn't?
I did, but I never authorized that court reporter he's talking about. I don't know what. I've never authorized
Well,
that.
you can't appeal it if there's no court reporter there.
I wasn't planning
Well,
to
what if
appeal.
somebody said, yeah, you owe $10,000 now? You pretty much want a court reporter, so you could have appealed it, right?
Yes, but these are the things I was talking about, Your
There
Honor.
are two things that are still owed to the court reporter. One is the appearance fee of the day the court reporter shows up for your neighbors, and the other is the court reporter showing up for that hearing. Okay, did he file a bar complaint against you?
Yes.
Your Honor, I wasn't planning to file that bar report. I specifically told him I wasn't
Nobody
going
plans to file it
But after all
until
this,
they plan to file it.
I
Go ahead, but what?
No, I said after all that, I just felt like it was time for me to say something and be heard.
But what do you think he did wrong? These are bills that are owed to someone else.
Okay, well.
Okay, so let's talk about your lawsuit where you want an accounting of where the money went,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Tell me each time you wrote a check and how much it was for.
Yes, ma'am. The first check I wrote was at 8/16. That was the retainer check for $800.
Okay, everybody knows where that went.
Yes.
That is never yours again.
That's
Okay,
right.
Go
It's-
ahead.
It's non-refundable, correct.
Right.
The next check I wrote was for $250. That was on April the 11th, 2017.
And what was it you were being told that was for?
That was it. He just kept sending me emails.
No,
saying,
no. He sent you an email. What was show me the email.
Yes.
Okay, this tells me nothing. Show me the bill he sent you that propelled you to write a $250 check. What was that bill for, the $250? Do you know, Mr. McGowan?
Not without seeing something.
Okay, this is for $500, which is a different amount you want to talk about.
That's right.
I'll talk about that when we get there. Do you have the bill for the $250?
No.
So we have $250 he paid for. No one has any idea. What is the next amount you paid?
After the $250, I paid a $500 fee.
For what?
Unknown. I'm sorry. The email. Yes, here it is.
Okay. For what?
Unknown.
What did he say the $500 was for?
He said he needed more money for expenses.
When we started, I quoted you a fee of $500 for the whole thing. Obviously, no one knew at the time this would turn into the huge project that it has become, and accordingly, I'm going to need at least another $500 to keep this going. What's that about?
He had issues with a potential civil conspiracy. He had photographs of neighbors who were not these particular neighbors making obscene gestures in front of his house. And he gave me work to do and research to do on all those issues that were collateral to the case with the neighbors and which may or may not have been part of some larger.
I'm sorry, did you underquote him and then you asked him for another $500?
I underquoted him because it was focused
And
on the
then
neighbors.
you agreed to it.
No, ma'am.
Well, you wrote the check. You didn't say no.
No, I signed the check, but only my contingency.
Okay, so you know where the $500 went. So what's the next check you wrote after that $500?
It was a $95 check.
Okay, and that was for subpoenas. What's the next check you wrote after that?
$346.20.
So that one's taken care of. Nobody's in the dark. What's the next check you wrote?
That was the last check.
Okay. The only thing that you have paid that no one knows why you paid it is the $250 on 4/11. All I do know is that on April 12th, he tells you, I got the check. And that email is half off the page. Do you have the whole email?
No.
Do you have any way in your phone to find the email from April 12th?
Unfortunately, my phone doesn't connect to that account, no.
Do you have the whole email? And not covering facts here
I do have the whole email. The reason I covered those facts is because there were some things in there with names and stuff that I didn't want to be read out loud.
Yeah, I want the whole thing. I won't read it out loud.
Okay, I'm looking for it.
Do you have the whole email?
I do not have the whole email.
Okay, all right. So, and can you think of what that 250 would be for?
I can't.
I'm going to take a recess and allow you an opportunity to figure out what that 250 is for, because I'm not about to allow him a credit for something that I shouldn't be allowing him a credit for. Court is in recess.
All rise.
So, as a general proposition, are lawyers honest?
I want to believe they are.
Okay, but what do you really believe?
I believe it.
Oh, good. What do you say?
Yeah. Yes.
What do you say?
I think they're paid to do a job, and sometimes that is honest, and sometimes probably not so honest.
Okay, but if it was over 50%, is it over 50% honest or over 50% not?
It's very hard to say at the moment.
At the moment, I'll get back to you. Going inside the courtroom.
Were you able to get anything?
No, I wasn't. I got
All
a
right,
voice
here's what's
message.
going to happen. I have the lawsuit that I have in front of me.
Your Honor, can I say something before you make a judgment?
We're done, okay? Let me just explain something. This could have been handled better. This should have been handled better. And if you had your ducks in a row, I may not have had to waste the last whatever going over this, all right? Having said that, however, you worry me. There's something about you that worries me.
Why is that?
Well, you know, when I ask you, why are you showing me a quarter portion of an email, your answer is, well, I didn't want names and addresses to be. I said, fine, give me the whole email, sure. And then I kind of feel like you gleaned that it may not help you. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, magically, when you have all these things you've made copies for me about, the one email I ask you to see, you're telling me that you can't find. Okay, you know what? No
I don't
worries.
doctor anything.
But so when the hairs on the back of my head raise a little, all I do is I get more cautious. So right now I'm cautious. And here's what's going to happen. On his lawsuit against you, I now see that really the court reporter could have been a little clearer and said this is for the appearance, but I see the email from the court reporter explaining it. So I know you owe it. So on the amount that he's suing you for, which is the $254, you can't say I never authorized a court reporter at a hearing on 57-105 fees, because I don't buy it. That you wouldn't spend $100 and something after you've authorized everything else, I just don't buy it.
But he's
so
supposed to ask
stop. So on your lawsuit against him for $254, I am ruling in your favor that those aren't going to him. They're going to the court report. Okay, that those are in fact still owed. On your counterclaim against him for $750, there remains only one thing I have a question about, and that is that $250 check, which you should be able to explain. Here's where the hairs rising on the back of my neck come in. I'm giving you 72 hours to explain it. Normally, I'd throw you out and say, well, we're done. If anybody should know what to come here with, it should be you. But I'm going to give you 72 hours to provide me with some proof of what that is, so that there is a full accounting of every penny the man spent, because he is entitled to that. Okay? That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the judge has made her decision. The plaintiff is going to get the $250 he was suing you for.
Yes, sir.
The rest is still questionable at the moment.
Yes, sir.
And that's the outcome of the case so far.
Thank you. I was just looking for an outline of what exactly my money was being spent on, and I never got it.
Well, you're going to get it. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. McGowan, you got to get your ducks in a row to get.
Got to do it.
You know, and you're a lawyer. You should know that. You know.
I should, and I didn't think it was in dispute, that 250, but I'll look for it, and if it's there, it's there.
Okay. Well, good luck. Hope you can find it.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Harvey?
So look, Doug, if you guys are you hire a lawyer and you're in a fee dispute, a lot of state bar associations actually have mediation services where you can go to them, not all, but some, where you can go and try and resolve the fee dispute short of going to court. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.